Welcome everybody to our first part of our webinar series specifically for small businesses. My name is Andy Wibbles. I work here at 6 Apart in San Francisco, and with me today is Anil Dash, who is one of our head honchos of blogging. He is one of those few people that actually really is internet famous. And he'll be taking us today through the many ways that blogging and small business can work together. And Anil, take it away, buddy.
Thank you very much, Andy. It's great to have everybody here today. Just a little bit of background about who's talking to you. My name's Anil Dash, as Andy said. I did help start 6 Apart, but really my background in terms of talking about blogging and small business is that I've been blogging for about 10 years, been doing it a long time, and prior to that, I've helped start 3 different small businesses, including 6 Apart, where I was the first employee. So it really is something where we have all practiced what we preach. And a lot of the tips and tricks and the background that we're going to be showing you are things that we've learned through experience. And then today's agenda is very straightforward. I'm going to offer you a little bit of an introduction and background into the world of small business blogging. We're going to identify some key principles of what we think are the key messages or the key things you need to understand about using this new set of tools. We're going to offer you some case studies based on real users putting these tools into practice. And then we're going to talk about what the benefits are once you have put these things into practice for your own company. We're going to do some Q&A at the end. Please feel free to throw your questions out during the presentation if you want. There's a text box for Q&A in WebEx where you can type in your questions. And Andy will be bringing those back to me at the end so that we can get them. But if you have questions that pop up along the way, you can share those right away. And then finally, we'll close with a summary, and that's where, in addition to covering everything or recapping everything we've covered, we'll also offer you a discount code for a typepad account yourself if you want to try it all out. So let's go through and get started. We really want to get through the core material very quickly because I'd love to spend a lot of time on questions and answers based on what you specifically look to do for your own business. So by way of background, when I started blogging, there were about 100 people or so that were already blogging, and I thought, gosh, I'm late. You know, this is back in 1999, and all these people are already doing it, and maybe every good idea is already taken and everything's already been thought up. And then since I started blogging, another 100 million or so people showed up and started doing it too, and I realized maybe I'm early. You're going to have that same sensation with starting a small business blog yourself. A lot of times you're going to wonder, oh, this is, you know, everybody's doing this. Am I behind the curve? There's nothing to worry about. Any time is a good time to get started, and there's always going to be plenty of people that are going to learn from you down the road. The best thing about starting right now is that there's enough of a background of people using small business blogs that you can learn from what they want to do while still being early to your own market or to your own, you know, local region in terms of using a small business blog. So, of course, if you're here, you probably know a little bit about us, 6 Apart. We're the company that creates typepad, as well as a suite of other tools and services that are really about helping people succeed with blogs. And we've also used our own tools to grow our own business, so we really do practice what we preach. We've created some pretty well-known tools for publishing and community. Typepad is a service we're going to focus on today. It has a sibling product, Movable Type, and that's for a little more complicated publishing and community type efforts. We have an advertising group called 6 Apart Media that does a really smart job of helping people target messages and deliver them online. And then we have a professional services group that does customizations and designs and things like that. That's something that might be relevant at the end of our presentation if you're looking for help getting started with a small business blog and you think you need help with designing your site or customizing it. Our services group can assist you there. And one of the things that's been really interesting is that our company's been able to grow geographically really quickly by using these tools as well. While we started in San Francisco, I'm talking to you from our New York office, and we have offices in Paris and Tokyo as well. Those are markets we never would have reached without having the internet being able to amplify the messages our small business was putting out. So enough about us. Let's talk about you and why it's time for you to invest in starting a small business blog. It's a pretty important question because it's easy to say, you know, the economy is down, new technologies can be time consuming. Why is this the kind of thing I need to spend time and effort on? Well, the reality is that this stuff has finally become real. And by real, what we mean is that these are tools that can provide measurable benefits for your business. They can help you really reach audiences that you otherwise might not have connected to. And they can help you have a deeper connection with your customers, your potential customers, your business partners, even your employees. And that's a really important thing right now when, this is a tough economy and this is a tough market. It matters more than ever to distinguish yourself as a small business. And one of the things we're most proud of is that more than 100 million people are reading blogs. This wasn't something we were sure would happen, and Six Apart as a company is very identified with the blogging space. But what we found is that this medium has really taken off in popularity. And so while you might think the only people reading blogs are people that have a desk that looks like this one with all kinds of complicated gear, the truth is it's a very, very mainstream behavior. It's how tons of people get their information, whether that blog is from their local newspaper or an independent person just writing their opinions. Those are the things that are helping shape people's opinions and influencing which businesses they choose to do business with. And just as importantly, it's important to understand that the people using these social tools online, like blogs and Twitter and other things that you might hear about, are important, valuable customers or potential customers for you. A lot of times it's easy to think, these social networking tools, this is all young people. They don't have any money to spend, or they don't control the budget at their company. These aren't really people we want to communicate with. But if you look at the research and the statistics that are out there, what we find is that people who are themselves small business owners or that are in charge of the budget at home or at work are increasingly using these tools to do their job and to communicate with each other. And what that means is the audience you can connect to through all of the technologies we're going to talk about today is a really valuable one. It's not just kids wasting time online. And most importantly, we're going to talk a little bit about social networks because they've gotten a lot of attention, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or any of the other services that are out there. There are new social networks popping up all the time. Now, this can be a little intimidating. There's no way you're going to be on all these different networks, especially with a new one coming up every week. But the important thing to understand is of people who use the web, 2/3 of them are at least on one social network. And they're adding new networks all the time. And that means that these are an important channel that you can reach them through. The good news is we're going to show you how to reach them through all these networks without having to participate in all these networks yourself. So let's start with what you probably already know about your company, which is that the people that work on your team and that small group of employees that you have form a really important core of a larger community that you connect to. And the first thing that your company does is puts out what we call content. Now, you might not think of yourself as a publisher or something like that, but if you take the sum total of the messages that you put out in a newsletter to your customers, emails between your employees, what you tell people face-to-face in your store if you have a retail store, certainly what you say over the phone, that's a lot of information. And it's information that should be working for you. It should be getting more valuable over time. And what we think is the blog tools that we're going to show you are going to let you make the most of that content that you're already creating just in the process of doing your business. And the great thing about that is that lets you reach an even bigger audience of your community. And that community, as we said, can be your current customers. It can be past customers. It can be potential customers that haven't purchased from you yet. But it's also your business partners, the other people in your local region if you have a small business group that you participate in, as well as maybe even suppliers or other people that you do business with. And all of those different connections in your community around your company can help you form connections to the rest of the social web. So this is a really important idea, which is we talk about these dozens of social networks. Those are all channels that potentially could be talking about the work that your business does and could be amplifying the reach of the messages you're making about your products and services. And we're going to show you how. So when we talk about how to do this, the first question we ask is, what makes a small business successful online? We looked at lots and lots of companies. We have the privilege of doing business with thousands of companies around the world. And we said, what is it that makes them successful online? As it turns out, it's the same thing that makes them successful offline. It's a few key tenets that distinguish small businesses, nimble businesses, from big lumbering corporations.